right, so we are live. Let me just put on the intro so we can allow some people some time to come in and let people come in. We can share. 1 second. All right. All right. Been a long, intense evening. What's going on, everybody? We're going to have a special show here in just a second with our friend Z from New Mexico. Last time we talked to her, she was our first meeting with her, and she was with a big smile on her face, looking at her new home stuck in the mud on some acreage that she's uh, putting together her little heaven on earth. So I just want to say to everybody, we're going to be hitting the road again tomorrow. We have no idea where we're going. Uh, Thank you for all the love and support, contributions. It's kind of weird going into the unknown uh, again, but we have complete faith. We did a lot of clearing last night. We had a very powerful night, which we'll probably talk about later today, with Amanda Lawrence, which is going to be coming on in 2 hours. But let's get Z in here. We got a very special sound healing she's going to do, and she's also got an initiative she's working on that we're going to get to know more about. So let's get her up here. What's happening? Nanu. That's probably before your time. Yeah, it's not worth discussing. Don't worry about it. So how are you doing? What's happening? What's going
I
on?
am doing fabulous. Things are moving. My house is out of the mud, is in one piece, so things are great.
It's out of the mud. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, that's good. That's really. I'm glad to see you again. I'm glad you reached out. I really am. We haven't been doing as many shows because we've been traveling. And
I've been
so,
really diving with what you've been posting lately with
what's
your
that?
poems. And I've been really diving with the frequency that you're posting with lately because I think I really resonate with that.
Wow. Well, we're obviously coming from the same branch of the tree of life. I got that last time we talked. You've got, of course, this incredible, and I read your post this morning uh, about the vocal box, or what do you call it?
Right.
The cervix, and in particular, how to, I think, do what you do basically. And I know
Right.
you got an initiative coming up. So I'm going to throw the ball into your court. If you want to go into the sound healing whenever you want to, that's fine with me, or whatever discussion you want to get into. It's your hour, so let's roll with it. Let's get jiggy
Thanks.
with it.
Yeah, so I feel like there's a couple of topics that I felt inspired to share with the community today. One of them is the restoration of innocence. Another is kind of the time and the depth of the starseed mission that we are on right now. I feel like we're moving into another phase that is just initiating right now. And it is a phase that I think people have been receiving visions and ideas about for a long time. And I've just felt like we're kind of sitting on the outside or sitting on the waiting lines and just waiting for it to happen. And I think that those projects, those healing centers, they're really beginning to form now. And this is happening through an embodiment process. And so I wanted to go over that.
Yeah, this all
Um,
resonates.
yeah.
It actually resonates very deeply with what I'm feeling as I get into this program with you. I didn't wake up till 30 minutes ago. I went through an incredibly intense night with me and my partner, and it was absolutely, totally multidimensional. Totally, I mean, we're talking dragons, we're talking the Divine Mother, we're talking apparitions in the room, and mergings and chakras having orgasms and the whole nine yards. But what you said, I'm going to get it back to you. What you said about the waiting, what jumped out at me was the word initiative last night. And it was like the message was, we're waiting on something, right? And that maybe we need to take initiative towards that
Mhm.
to create the accelerator, to start the motor uh, of the mutual dance of the universe and the universe. So I like that.
Yeah. hmm Absolutely. I think it was the post that you posted a few days ago, where it's like, maybe we should do something. Like maybe we're here to actually do something. I can't remember the
Hmm.
specific words you used, but I'm like, yeah. And I think the reason why, people haven't been able to do that is because we haven't been fully cleared in our energy system. So it's actually really hard to take initiative and to create, because there's blocks in our bodies and our energy system, which are, made to be a creational machine. And so if we have, misbelief systems, which these blocks, they're weaponized as a way to keep light workers and star seeds to get to work, right? With all these beliefs, like all these aliens are coming, like the government's
Hmm.
doing something. Um, just talk to your archangels, like just stay in the heart and above, don't even worry about it, just love and light all day. And
Right.
all of these things,
Yeah.
keep us in a state of false like bliss or something. Because I find personally that the most joy and most balanced place that I am in is when I'm in a state of creativity.
Yeah.
When I'm working on something that both I'm really passionate about and that I know is, my purpose and is going to help a lot of people, heal or move to the next place or create, that heaven on earth. When I'm actively working on that, I am actually in a state of sexual arousal. And I think
Yes.
this is like the natural state that we're supposed to be in, because our sexual energy is our creative energy. And so if
Hmm.
we're not in that place of joyful creation, then we're kind of floating around, in our head or in our heart, then we're not fully grounded in. And that's part of the major healing that we have to go through, because this planet has undergone severe planetary sexual enslavement.
Yeah.
To put it very blankly and lucidly, that is what everyone on this planet is healing from.
Yeah.
And it so happens that the light workers and the star seeds and the healers, we're the ones that have to go through this healing ourselves first, because we have the capacity to handle that level of information, and we can kind of begin to transmute it and kind of dilute it and create the antidotes that we can then offer to the masses. So we are here
Ah,
to assist all of humanity. We're
I
not
totally.
here to just run around, and
That's right. We're yeah.
spiritually
No, I.
masturbate about how great we are.
So I love you, man. And again, this is not a coincidence. What I went through last night, what we both went through, we haven't even talked about it, is exactly what you're talking about. We've all been raped. Our sexual power, all of us, has been distorted. And what I got last night, when I felt this thing coming on, she was already like, half 1 foot in multidimensionality and 1 foot out, and I was watching and I said, oh shit. And so sometimes we'll watch a movie to process with ease and grace. We know the movie's going to, like, something's going to come out. but we'd started it like 1 minute into it. And I said, this ain't going to work. And I knew what was happening. I said, okay, I'm showing right now that our roots, our base, there's the very last little tidbits of this sexual distortion and this all that stuff, right? And so that's what started the process. And I was told, I wish I had the words because I wrote them down like at 3 in the morning. I was like, da, 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 you know, and I was told that the greatest opportunity that we have, okay, comes from. I'm gonna have to just pull it up real quick. Let's see here. It says we are here to integrate, love, and accept all polarities, and the most difficult to realize and the most rewarding are with two or more. Right, where two or more gather. Oneness is what we have created from within us, and it's manifested now outside of us. And this is where the dance starts and really changes, because it's not just in the etherics and the dimensional, it's actually in the physicality. And that's mind blowing, because what those things that you speak of, whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati, the Matrix, the fear based program, they ain't got shit on us. Okay. And this is in the physical. We can whip their ass up there. That's no problem. But here in the physical, they can't stop us. And you're right. Create our way out. Just create, create, create. Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that too. It's a powerful, passionate energy when that root is activated, right? And like that's like where our power comes from, to be actually connected to the life force through our roots. So we're not floating, we're actually connected to the physical reality. And without being connected into the physicalities, like we're not plugged into the creational machine. So as hard as we can try to create things, we won't make a difference in the physical world. And again, that is something that has been weaponized in the New Age community to try to deter us from, getting anywhere. I have a lot of people recently share with me about their fear of money and how they kind of treat it as this horrible thing. Money is the root of all evil, and money enslaved everyone. And in my personal world, as I'm building this house, which is something very physical and is not something I've ever had to do, right? So I'm like, oh, like the propane tank is like $600, and like digging a
Mm.
well, it's like 10 grand, and like all of these different things to make it happen on the ground is going to take money. And people say, well, you can exchange or blah blah blah. Well, we can restore money as an energetic exchange, like monergy.
Monergy.
And just feeling like that actually in this time of transition, we could actually use the system of money as an advantage to us, where if we had $1 billion, we can literally just buy national forests and build things and build healing centers and make it happen really quickly. Whereas if there was no organized system of energy, then we would literally have to communicate to every person about what is needed and what needs to be done. It'd have to be all this extra energy would have to go into the organization. Whereas if we just understood that we can utilize money as a form of energy. And this takes a lot of deconditioning as well. So I work with the human design system, and I understand that everybody's energy system is different. And so not everyone is built to function with money. And so we're moving into this true realm of co-creation where we're no longer, it's like if we can all be sovereign in our own energy system, and we're not parasiting off of each other, but we're trusting and co-creating with each other, then the beings who do have the codes to handle the resources, they can process the money. But of course, these are people that won't like be hoarding it. They'll be
Yeah.
pushing it into the community to initiate projects. And I've been meeting kind of clusters of soul families that are in different roles of
Yeah.
creating that foundation. So for me, a part of that is creating large amounts of financial abundance, so that say the next generation of starseeds, they're not going to have to build their own house. They're like, hey, I need to go to Egypt to do the sound healing thing in the
Yeah.
pyramids. We're like, here's 5 grand, go do that because it's good for everyone. And that
You
goes
know,
for healing centers and everything else.
you know, Yeah, I mean, we must be drinking from the same dimensional etheric well every night, because this is exactly what I've gotten, since the summer of 2018. And as Arcturians came in, the Arcturian Council, Arcturian Council uh, 9 mind, something like that. Arcturian. Anyway, so they came in and they talked about what you're talking about. And so I know that Soulogy has a role in that. And we're moving closer and closer to that. And if Soulogy's energy is, and your energy is, other people's are too. So this is happening. And what I'm talking about
Yeah.
is a new commerce. It's a 5D commerce. It's not based on anything that and you're right. It's about transforming what's there versus like saying, oh, we're going to divorce ourselves and disassociate ourselves from that. That's not how the universe works. We're transformers, for Christ's sake, right? So it's based on the honor system. And the honor system is about integrity, not the virtue and the human matrix integrity, but real, true, pure love integrity, where you pay it forward and you put your best foot forward. Like tomorrow. Tomorrow, Morgan and I are going to get in the RV, and we don't know where we're going. We don't have much money, uh, you know, but this is how this energy works. And the same goes with the money. If you see somebody doing something and they're putting it out there, send them 25 bucks, send them $5, send them 30 bucks, whatever it is proportionate to your ability, send it there. And I'm promising you it comes back. So it's based on the honor system, based on paying it forward. No one's going to check you. And guess what? It ain't fucking taxable. So they can stick it. I mean, we're changing. This is a revolution. And thank you, sister, for showing up. And thank you for letting me put that little piece in.
Yeah. So another interesting thing that's coming up lately is definitely in the realm of relationships. So actually, just yesterday, I had two new people join my team, and they're people that I've known for like many, many, many years. And one of them actually was my ex-boyfriend. And in 3D reality, we would call this person my ex-boyfriend, but even when we met, we knew that we were cosmic siblings, and it was always weird for us because, I think the template for our relationship wasn't meant to be romantic, but when we met, we were like 20, and so like in our programs, the only way that men and women can relate is in a romantic relationship. So, we kind of like had this really confusing time where we actually traveled the world learning sound healing together. um, Everywhere we went, we would just bump into these different lineages of sound healers, and they would teach us and invite us to perform with them. It was just like the synchronistic theme that happened everywhere we went. So in the organic reality, we are actually classmates and co-creators in sound, and we're on this long, mission, this lifetime to share this technology. But in the 3D, because we were confused, we were trying so hard to have a romantic relationship that just wasn't right. And so we separated for, a couple years, and even knowing that we are meant to be together, that we're sorting things out. And so, now I he's back, and I'm in this domestic relationship that I'm so happy inside of. I have this baby that I'm pregnant with, and this person who's supposed to be my quote unquote ex-boyfriend is here to assist me in anchoring the space to bring in this baby, because we're soul family, and there's no weirdness between people, there's no jealousy, there's just this recognition that we are soul family. And we got kind of confused at some point on earth, but we're here to work together. And similar thing, it's like there's just such a big strong energy of co-creation now, and a deep recognition of what we're doing here, and not getting distracted by drama or weirdness,
Mhm.
because there is a sovereignty that's coming in, where we're recognizing that every single person is their own thing, is a unique being, is a
Right.
whole energy system, and that each person's interaction with other people can't really be defined by any sort of limitations.
Yeah.
So to experience that unconditional levels of giving and receiving and being liberated in that is something that actually my daughter is totally teaching me, because she's coming in 2020, and in the
Mm.
first months that she was coming in, I had still these kind of attachments to false reality ways of relating, like, oh, like I'm with my husband, and we have this insular relationship that keeps you from connecting with other people in any way. And she's like, I'm not living in any of that. Like, I
Yeah.
have relationships based on the geometry of what is being exchanged
Yeah.
between myself and every other person. And again, this takes a level of maturity, because there are people who have not healed their codependency and have not healed their
Yeah.
sexual shame, and thus are using these higher understandings of oneness as a way to be disgustingly polyamorous, for lack of better words that I can
Yeah,
use.
yeah. But oh, you know what? Let me start. I want to just say this so everyone understands. She's communicating with her daughter, who's in her womb. And this is the real deal. I was told 8 years ago, you guys are going to go out there and bust your ass, in about this time, actually, when you're about 57, 58. I just turned 58, and that these young people are going to come in and just take this thing away. And I think the term young people is everything from your age down to those that are about to come in. Now, there's a lady who just passed by you, by the way, her and her husband and their 3-year-old child. Natasha Weeks. Okay, if you guys didn't see that episode, you should check this out. So this kid comes into the world and is communicating with his mother, just like this situation, and tells the mother, I ain't having nothing to do with that stuff. You're not sending me to a school. You're not sending me to school. You're not sending me to daycare. We're not going to get into this drama and this junior high bush league bullshit. We're gonna be the new earth. So they have sold everything they have. They converted a truck to a little house on wheels, and they're traveling like we're doing. But they got a kid, and guess who's leading the show? The kid. The kid is saying, "Go here, go there, go here, go there." So this is what we're getting into. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, and so
Thank you.
congratulations.
It's totally already like that. Absolutely. And it's such a joy. It just, like, I mean, they're so connected, and I just can't even imagine if we came into the world and we weren't oppressed and made to feel like we had to be something that we aren't, like, that's just where we are. And we can be so joyful that that's finally happened. We're at this place where souls can come in and be free from that, and
They
that's
walk
just
in, they walk in
totally.
like a boss, man.
I know it too. Yeah. I mean, the first time I saw her, it was before she was even conceived, and she showed up as a full-grown man, which I think in her previous lifetime she was a man. So she showed up as a full-grown man, and she was like, "Look, I'm not a baby like you think I am. Like, I'm not your kid. I'm not here to entertain like what you think I'm gonna be. I'm just here to be myself." I'm like, all right, capiche. She had to like communicate that to me before she would even come.
Yeah. I want to ask you something real quick because I know you want to do some other stuff, but
Mm,
a lot of this intel that you were sharing, that you've been sharing, Morgan and I are totally in alignment. We were experiencing the same thing. It might look a little different on the outside, but energetically, it's the same thing. The one other thing that I wanted to ask you about in this recent intel is there. I came out of it or during it or whatever, knowing that Todd's gone. Morgan's gone. Uh, you know what I mean? The what we thought we were is gone. And the message I got was kind of like, um, you know what? Say goodbye to that. Okay, say goodbye to that. You're not a human being. You're not these restrictions and limitations of the human being. And let's stop talking about it. Be the divine human being that you are. This is the offering we have to the realm and to the universe, is to be able to do what you're talking about doing. And there was just a big emphasis on it's gone. Bury. I even saw a funeral pyre. I saw a funeral pyre. I saw my body laid on it, and I watched it burn. And this is all in an intense dream state, and a lot of other things happen I won't get into because this is your time. But do you now you're a lot younger, but I mean, do you resonate with that? Is there a part? And I think you were kind of talking about that a second ago, but do you have you kind of like left this stuff behind along with those beliefs? I guess it's the same thing.
yeah, absolutely. And it's actually a very interesting discussion. So I actually just finished printing my book. Here it is,
Yay!
called
I
I Am
am
Starseed.
right
And
on.
it's basically a story of the first 7 years of my awakening since when I first heard that, hey, you're from Andromeda,
Yeah.
back in 2013 in March. And so it was kind of this like crazy thing where as soon as that happened, everything in my life changed. And I started, learning about astral militaries and working in grid work and talking to interdimensional ETs and Sasquatch and everything. So all the stories are in here. But when I first woke up, they told me that this process is kind of like a walk-in process. It's not walk-in of a different being. It's a walk-in of our original higher self that wasn't able to operate in our body when we were surviving in the 3D or in the false reality or on Earth as a human, as you say. And so that whole process can be mapped out as that. So I actually, in the last chapter of this book, talk about the higher self walk-in process and how you can tell where you are in the process just by checking in with where you are on the map. And I would say that when you are, actively, quote unquote, on your mission and you feel like your higher self or your actual self is fully in the body and you're pretty much operating as that being full time, then that embodiment process has come into a completion. Of course, that it's still just the beginning. That's like you arriving in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
vessel ready
Mhm.
for the action,
It's
right?
like it's like a rebirth, isn't it? Franco
Absolutely.
Franco Di Nicola comes on quite a bit, about once a month, and he's been in this game a long time. He's got some create. He's got the highest level connective intel I've ever come across. But anyway, very humble guy. But we were talking about this yesterday on the show, and because Morgan had a walk in, what in September, October, and we were staying at a cabin in North. Which one I met you? We were staying at a cabin in Northern California, and one morning she walks in the kitchen and she looks at me and says to herself, "Who the f is that? And what the f am I doing here?" So he would talk about this, and then I would tell her, I can't really relate to it. And I was talking to Franco yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I remember driving down the road about a month ago, and I remember being in the car, and I could think of the metaphoric thing aspect of being in a car, and I'm in the car, and I was like, hey, I can do this. Oh, this is how you do it. And it's like everything
Yeah.
changed in that moment. And then I started telling him about it because it popped in my head, and I thought that's really what it's like. It's like we jumped into this car, this vessel, and I could feel my higher self in that regard, in other regards, in the ensuing weeks, uh, that getting used to it, like, and I can
Yeah.
see there's more physical strength, there's more clarity, there's a whole different pattern going on, whole different
Mhm.
avenue of neural pathways, and it feels like it's some level of completion, and I think
Mhm.
that it must be happening everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally remember that moment too. I was also in a car and I remember this one part coming in, and this part was like, whoa, like she's never been on Earth before. She's like, where am I? Like, what is this?
Oh, well,
Yeah. And I think we all probably have a lot of aspects. And I think it could be, inner fragments as well,
yeah,
like soul fragments that, got broken off and that are returning. Those parts could feel like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. I
yeah,
haven't been
and more, and
awake
yeah,
in a while.
that's a good point too, because I know it gets a little complicated with the walk-in thing, and he talks about soul swapping and different things. It's kind of complicated, but
Mhm.
but Morgan feels, and I do too, because I've heard this one voice my entire life. I know that's me, right? Call it higher self, call it whatever. Sometimes it was in the background because I was too shadowed or whatever the case is, go to sleep. But it feels like they're and actually Franco did validate this. It feels like they're all aspects of ourselves. Last
Mhm.
night when we went and laid down oh, I'm sorry, this morning, it actually happened this morning. Last night was like crazy. I woke up this morning, I'm on my hands and knees in the bathroom, puke, I mean, it's just like, what the hell's going on? I crawl into the bed. I think we should put our hands together like we usually do when we go to bed. And the first thing that happens is this big white dragon comes flying in the room and is right over me, right in front of my root. And that's what I knew was happening, all night long. And I even asked it. I was like, Mother Goddess, can you please help me with this? I mean, I normally don't ask like that. I mean, it was that severe. And all of a sudden, shot right into my root, man, and went right into my root. I had like this soulgasm went off. Morgan's like, what is going on? And then I could feel I could feel it go up all the way up into my throat chakra. And I got the message, and it was a white dragon, and then I knew I was the dragon, and the dragon was telling me with a lot of force, I mean, like yellow, ferocious eyes, it's time to open your throat chakra full blown. Don't be small. We're not messing around. I'm home.
Mhm.
I love that. That you
Wow.
said it's there. These are aspects of us, and I love that you said that.
Well, that's so powerful, and that brings in a kind of a new layer to our discussion too, of branching out. Like for example, we are here again to build bridges. And so a lot of us have been kind of circulating inside this new age community. And it was kind of, the new age community was kind of like an incubator. And it was important for us because here we felt like we could be ourselves and we can begin to formulate our ideas and express ourselves and just test the waters. And at a certain point, we become embodied enough that we got to lose the training wheels and leave kindergarten and start to communicate with the rest of the community on earth and learn how to communicate with them, instead of being like, oh, they're unawakened and they're so dumb and they vaccinate and they eat all this crap. Like, it's like there are brothers and sisters, there are parts of ourself that haven't awakened yet. Like we chose to awaken first so that we can take the brunt of the amnesia sickness for them,
Yeah.
right, out of love and out of compassion. And so we're redirecting our attention and our energy to create pathways, and this is where the creativity comes in. We don't expect them to understand us, once we've healed the rejection wounds from our parents, once we no longer need validation from the external, we have all this room to actually adjust ourselves to be palatable and to be acceptable, so that we can create the real vaccinations, the real medicine
Yeah.
for all people on this planet. And that's what we're here to do, right? We didn't come here to be like, oh, we're so much better than them. Like they're so stupid.
No, and that's interesting. That's really interesting that you bring that up because I see this dynamic happening over the years that I've been doing what I'm doing. And what happened was in the beginning there were these people who got it first, right? And they had all this powerful intel. And I could go right down the list and name so many people. And thank you for your service. And then there was this shift last year when it started to become like more about self-empowerment, and that whole yogi guru frequency started falling flat. And now I'm seeing, and it's amazing, I'm seeing people transform. It's almost like and how could you not? You come in, you've got this high vibrational information and beingness, and how could you not feel a little bit superior, a little bit smarter? But then I'm seeing this transformation where they're actually coming into this incredible humility, and they're altering their modalities and their processes, and they're coming off of their over identification and attachment to whatever it is that brought them to the party. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's a powerful thing to me. I mean, I really respect, because we are transformers. And where is the ultimate transformation? Where is the center of all creation? Ourselves, transforming ourselves.
Beautiful.
Mm, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
You want to do the sound? Oh, do you want to talk about your initiative first, or you want to do the sound here?
um yeah, I think I'll go into the sound healing. I so I've been working with my daughter to create this container for women, and I don't really want to go too deep into it because it's hard to articulate like what it is because it's so deep.
Mm,
But basically, I got all these women from all over the world, and we are working on anchoring the original mother goddess frequencies, through healing ourselves and through really coming into our power as a creator in the female body. That is not to exclude males. I don't know as much about male bodies because I'm not in one, and because I communicate and learn from my Taoist ancestors and masters in the dream plane.
mm-hmm.
I come to understand that even in Chinese medicine, like organs have energy and organs have metaphysical properties. And so because our organs are slightly different, they function slightly differently as far as how creational energy flows through our body. So from that perspective, I don't really know how that feels like for a man. So that is why this specific container is for women. And it's really created for people who want to step deeper into their purpose, and feel like they've got a lot of good ideas but haven't been able to birth it. And usually that is caused by various blockages in all the chakras. So we go through all the chakras, we talk about Taoist metaphysical anatomy and how creation works functionally. So, I spend my days in kind of this like orgasmic state because I'm creating a lot and I'm just like
Yeah.
in such a state of goodness. And that's how it should feel like, for us to be able to create abundance easily. It's this whole like we should struggle and we can't get what we want thing. It's not real.
Yeah.
When
That's
our
right.
energy system and our body is correctly integrated and running optimally, things are very easy to create because that's our natural state of being. So ultimately, we're just tweaking our energy system to restore to that place of empowerment as a creator, as a birth giver, as a womb being. Um, and so if you want information on that, you can go to earthstar.tk/Sophia.
Hang on.
Um,
Let me pull that up. I won't. Let me just plug it in right now. So what is it? Earth what?
www.earthstar.tk
Earth
slash
Star dot TK. Then what?
slash Sophia.
Slash Sophia.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sophia. I want to pull it up, and so before we get out of here, we can. Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome. No, we're here to. This is a platform to support initiatives like this and people like you or souls like you, whatever the hell we are. We're all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that's really cool, and I think it's cool too that, and it makes sense to me that the first containers would be the feminine energy. I mean, that is it. I mean, that's it. And I was shown something. I don't know, 4, 5, 6 days ago, as I'm navigating my own creative powers and expanding them and exploring them. I was sent right into the womb, you know, and it was not like it was a crystal skull. I never seen one before. And so they're like, okay, well, I understood immediately that was Divine Mother. Like Divine Mother was inside of there, and so I understood that it was the safest place to be, but it was the most unknown place to be. And so I went in and I like went through an eye socket and I like started to like, like I was on a cliff. And as soon as I did, the wind started blowing, and I'm like, holy shit, am I going to be able to even like go out or come in? What do I do? But my point is, what I was given at that moment was the masculine energy was created by her, right? So it's really the same energy, and so this is why I think the feminine containers, like you call it, are going to be put out there first and expanded, because the masculine energy is still coming into, just right now, coming into an awareness of
Mm-hmm.
itself. I've seen on YouTube, we started posting these shows. There's about 800 of them now. Last year in January, and for most of the year, 5% of the viewers were men. And I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell? But now that number is about 25%, and that's only occurred over the last couple.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a
That's really
powerful.
cool statistics to have.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big props on that though, and we'll support you on that as you continue to get into it. This is a good
Mhm.
place to announce it. And that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like as I kind of study with these masters on like Taoist metaphysical anatomy is kind of timeless in a way because it really focuses on the um, feminine and the masculine being very enmeshed into each other. When you look at the um, what was that called thing? The Taoist
Uh-huh.
sign. Whereas like the black and the white are within each other
Oh,
and they're
yin
not
yang.
separate. That's
Yeah.
right. So um, it's like when we talk about being feminine, we're not talking about, sliding to one side of the spectrum where you're just like female or something, because
Yeah.
there is masculine energy inside the feminine and feminine energy
Oh yeah.
inside the masculine. But I feel like it's really important for us to start really anchoring in the original energies, because there's a lot of agendas right now
Mm.
to just continue to further distort those energies. And it's because those are our original creational energies. And as long as humans can't tune in to our creativity, which again is our correct sexuality, then we can't create a world where we're free. And that's one of the major ways that humanity is enslaved. We're kept in the false reality. And so that's why there's a lot of, transgender things like, yes, um, it's a hard subjects to talk to, but again, this is something that is kind of like that dragon thing you're talking about. A lot of people are being pushed to speak louder about certain things, even though they're really hard to talk about. So this is one of those things that's really hard to talk about. And I just want to say that, like, I love you unconditionally. I love all people. I accept all people. But I just want to bring this to our awareness that there are agendas that want to instill all of these beliefs and distorted ideas into our system, so that they perpetuate, a system that is not created for humanity.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to make that information known, because I struggle. This happened to me again a couple of days ago. Somebody very well known in the community, and it's like to me, it's like they've gone too far. It's like, and I'm not picking on this person. It's understandable, but in the conspiracy disclosure circles, almost like it's gone too far, where it's actually feeding the monster. Because the way I look at it, the only way they can program us, or anything can program us, is right here. And
Right.
you could talk GMOs and fluorides and coronavirus and all that stuff. But the bottom line, it's, what do I believe? You know, do I, if I now, knowing something's out there is absolutely essential, because the first step to transformation is awareness, right? But because if you don't know, we've all been through that, we all got duped. But I think the way you explain it is perfect, because it's objective, and it's
Mhm.
balanced, rather than militant, and
Right.
rebellious. And I've been there too. But that, at some point, we're feeding the monster. This real matter of fact, this is going on, you know, keep elevating yourself, keep expanding, and keep uh, expanding your awareness too,
Mhm.
because that technology, if that's the right word, they've been light years ahead of us, and yeah, but we're
Yeah.
powerful
And
like
in
them.
that, it brings all the power back to us to be absolutely aware of our own energy system, right? Like if we can just scan our body and feel where there are distortions and blockages, which all dimensions of our mind and our spirit, all of the distortions can be sourced in the physical body, but it's like you have to be able to have the subtle awareness to feel it. So that comes from, actually going inside and doing the energy healing and doing the meditations to access those subtle energy realms in our physical body. Because again, if we are absolutely clear and we feel good in our body and we're feeling alive and we're feeling creative, and you're feeling like you're the opposite sex in your body, fabulous, like that is great. But if we don't know if we're, traumatized from a past life, or have genetic, distortions from vaccines, or have inherited certain distortions from our parents, if we don't know about that and we're just fighting for our rights to, be on medication for the rest of our life or something, like that is something different.
Yeah, true.
So being aware of ourselves and making decisions from, an educated and loving place where we're basing it on how we're feeling and how truly integrated we are, that's like a really important thing that we have
Yeah,
to do for ourselves.
absolutely, absolutely. Here, here.
Cool. So yeah, I did want to share some sound healing today. So I'm gonna just get my technology ready here.
I'm just going to put the screen on you. Let's see. There we go.
So this sound healing is focused on the energy of the restoration of innocence, where we really begin to move back into our original state of wonder and unconditional acceptance and love that we were in when we were very young children, or that we see in young children. We can tune into the children that are coming in now, and just the glorious love and appreciation that children in that innocence have for just existence, for beauty, for our bodies, for our magnificent reality, a curiosity and a wonder towards the living, pulsating aliveness of everything, our original state of being. our lower body, into our root, into our sacral, into our solar plexus, especially breathing into our sexual organs, and we're clearing any pain or distortions, which are false beliefs, which make us believe that creation is difficult or that creation is painful or that creation is something that is done to us, that somebody else or something outside of ourselves has power over our ability to create. All of those energies we are washing away from our root and sacral, solar plexus, reconnecting to our connection to life, to the infinite pools of scintillating, lifting life energy that is all around us, that is available to us to transform into anything we desire to create. We're restoring that sovereign power in our energy system. We're releasing the binds and the traumas that are related to this in our root and sacral chakra. Just allowing the sound and the energy to flow as deeply as they can go, all the way through our body and our muscles and our energy body, to restructure those programs and traumas that are stored there. Restoring our entire sense of dignity. Know that these feelings of these traumas, of these pains are witnessed and held. You are accepted, unconditionally loved and safe. Breathe in the relief that is available here. Breathe in the restoration that is available here. Breathe in love that you are infinitely worthy, deserving of, and allow that love to be a self. Restoring any time you've been shamed or harmed, you were unsafe, you were creating or in the act of creation. Just allow the sound waves to move as deeply as they can go into your body, restoring connection to all likeness of all that is.
That's a big boom to that. I felt it. I've been working on my root, and I felt it. I felt it about 10 minutes into it. I felt it going into my root, into my sexual organs. Yeah. Thank you. I need
Yeah.
it. I usually try to do everything on my own, but I let myself go, and I could feel it. Powerful, ancient, sacred vibration. Let me pull up your website just so people will know. Erin Lee said it went right down to her root chakra too. So that's a real deal, man. Okay. This is a Earth Star Healer, angelic support for ascending humanity, multidimensional energy healing, Gaia consciousness, and creation magic, sacred sexuality, wisdom teachings. And then the initiative you were talking about is the Sophia. Is that it, or is it somewhere else?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Okay, Sophia Mysteries. Oh, we're already on it, aren't
we? Yeah.
Okay, so healing the womb. Okay, a 9-week guided journey and medicine container for women to find their power of infinite creativity. Wow, very cool, very nice. Yeah. So there's an explanation of the curriculum. Week 1, Soul Star and Crown Chakra. Week 2, Third Eye Chakra. Week 3, Throat Chakra, Heart Chakra, Solar Plexus, Sacral and Womb Chakra, and Root Chakra, Earth Star Chakra. Closing ceremony. So this is earthstar.tk/Sophia. For those of you who are interested, if you come across this on the replay or now and you need more information, please reach out to Z, or you can reach to me if you can't find her or something. This will be up on YouTube later today. The last show that we did together did extremely well. on Facebook and YouTube. So this is great vibrational coded information, data, light transmission that need to get out there. So if you guys would please share it. You got any final words here? Anything you want to say?
I don't know. Let's party.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun.
We're going to be heading that way. We've had some people that are wanting us to head over to New Mexico, but I know at
Yeah,
some time we're going to head that way, and
cool.
I'll be in touch with you. And maybe we can do this again next month if you want to.
Yeah, and drop by for a visit.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it'd be more than a visit. There's going to be something going on, some kind of gathering over there. Yeah, music and commentary and dance and art and
Yeah,
new
and I am
technologies.
gonna be in Sedona February 23rd to sing some songs on
Really?
Thieves of Rock as well with Sandra Walter.
Oh,
Um,
Sandra. Yeah, she's a good
yeah,
friend of ours. She's a good friend of ours. Yeah.
she's fabulous.
Oh, she's incredible. She's
Yeah.
absolutely, she's about as real as they get.
Yep.
The perfect example of somebody who has taken in a tremendous amount of information and power and code, and she's just so down to earth.
Yeah.
She's so chill, right? All right. Well, so that's February 23rd.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that. I'm going to hit her up this week. I was planning on it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you take care. Best to
Thank
you and that
you, everybody.
beautiful
Thank you,
star child.
Todd. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. She's
I'll see
part of
you
it too.
soon.
Yeah. You take care. All right. Peace out, everybody. We'll be back in 51 minutes with Amanda Lawrence. It'll be a brilliant show. Okay. Just like this one. Take care. See. Bye bye.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank
Bye for
you.
now.